Welcome to this week's video, and I'm so thrilled to have Dave and Heather with me. And Dave and Heather bought their home here in Ocean City not that long ago, a little longer than it feels like at this point. But they went through some trials and tribulations like I know a lot of people go through when they're considering buying a second home in Ocean City. So I wanted to have them on and kind of share a bit of their story because of where things are in the market. It's confusing, it's frustrating, there's a lot of emotions, but the same emotions were present for them a few years ago when it was a totally different market. So hopefully we can connect some dots. You guys can really take their story and find some meaning in it to help you whatever stage you're in this journey. So Dave and Heather, thank you so much for taking some time today to share with us.
Absolutely.
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So the biggest thing that I want to start with, because it was kind of crazy how quickly everything transpired from when we first started talking. It was very, very beginning stages. You knew what you wanted to do. But Ocean City as a whole, right? We know that people are typically drawn here because they've had personal experience, right? As kids, as kids with their grandparents, whoever it was. What drew you guys to Ocean City specifically? And were you looking for any other areas, or was it Ocean City and Ocean City only?
Well, I grew up coming to Ocean City every year. My parents owned a place outside of Ocean City. So we followed that tradition and brought our kids down. We rented for a week every summer. We loved bringing our kids down here, just family oriented, the boardwalk, it was safe. And so when we were down here for a fall getaway, when we were thinking about it, we decided to, since it was slow around the island, to drive around to different towns just to see if there was anything else that we might be missing. Right. So we did that, and nope, it was Ocean City.
No, I hear you. And it was, the same way for me moving back here. And obviously I grew up here, so a little bit different, but at the same time, I want to come back to the area. Let me just look, and nothing else compared. And I think it's a pretty common thread for a lot of people. But and while you guys were down here, we were going to get together to look at a few properties as like hey, we're just going to do a little bit of research, right? We're looking potentially at a 4-bedroom, no intention of doing anything right now. We're a few months away. And then we saw a few properties. What do you recall about that? Kind of your range of emotions from, again, like, hey, it's here. This is zero intent to we ended that day. What did you feel during that time frame? Just explain a little bit what that was like for you.
Well, the first house we saw, we got there before you got there. We're sitting in the car looking at it like, let's walk through the house just so we can kind of tell Nick what we're looking for. But like, I don't think this is going to be the house we're going to settle on. Just from the outside looks of it, just didn't look like it just didn't feel right. So that was the first one. Although we walked through, it was like, we're really not that interested. Right. So then we went to the second house.
Walked into the second house.
Cool.
Walked into the second house and was like, wow. Kept walking through room, and it just felt, it was very, you could tell that a lot of love had gone into the house. It didn't feel like it had been rented. It was well taken care of. Started to get a little excited, I think, that we didn't expect. I know when we ended the tour, we stood outside in the street, looked at it. I looked at Dave and said, I think I like it. I think I like it. So definitely scary because, like you said, we had the vision of coming down, meeting with you, going through houses to let you know what we liked, what we didn't like. That way, if something hit the market, you knew exactly what we wanted, and we could jump in the car and head down right away.
I think our mindset was, we'll go look at like 10, 12 houses, kind of draw this out a little bit so we find the perfect house. But after talking with you through a lot of conversations, you're like, hey, you know what? You kind of have to narrow down your list of what you want and your wants and needs, and kind of you're not going to find that perfect house. So you got to be able to make a quick decision,
knowing that you're not going to check off all those boxes. And we had some, we wanted 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. We have 3 adult children. We want to pass this on to them. We want to bring them here to enjoy time together. So that was a non-negotiable. Yeah. We didn't get the outside shower enclosed, but that can happen down the road, right?
Right. No, absolutely. You hit on a really, really key point too. That again, some of the trainings I've gone through, just kind of a behind the curtains moment here. There's so many trainings out there for real estate agents to, here's how to show a home. Here are the things that you should say to, highlight things for these buyers to, not convince them that it's the right home, But there's an opinion out there that you can actually sell a house, right? That I can say something that's going to change your mind, right? Or that's going to make you see something that you didn't notice on your own. You said you felt it, right? Dave, you said it from the jump. The first one, it just didn't feel right, right? You get a sense from the time you pull up often. Sometimes it's once you get inside, but you have to pay attention to that. But unfortunately, the only way to know that, and you mentioned, again, you've been renting here, so you've been in other properties, you've gotten a feel for different parts of the island. It's through experience, right, of being in different places that you already naturally kind of honed your glasses, right, for what you were looking for. And once you stepped into it, you knew, even though we didn't plan on doing it then. But you also, again, I credit to you guys for acting as quickly as you did too, even though it was not the plan. Now, the nature of where we were back in, I believe that was 2021. Am I wrong there?
It was January 2022. We settled in March.
That's what it was. Okay. So January 2022 was very, very hot. Things were moving faster than they are now. So it was absolutely paramount. And you know, there were other people that still had showings. There were other offers threatening to come.
They showed up as we were leaving. So yes.
No, exactly. So you decided on the ride home, right? That it was it. We got the attorney drawn contract together and boom, you're done. You're actually in the house now. But again, those emotions that you felt from the jump of this is not it to this is it to we need to make the move. What I want to kind of dig into here, and again, just so everybody knows, there was no preparation for this. This is whatever's coming from them is their honest opinion. The thing that has intrigued me the most about working with people through this process and seeing so many, you know, give up on it, and the few who go forward with it, I want to kind of narrow in on what makes those people succeed in their goal versus the ones who do not. So I believe that it has something to do with the inability to simply make a decision. Indecision. I've talked with a lot of people that are scared to put in an offer because we don't know what's coming next, right? That perfect house that had the outside shower too for you guys could have in theory hit the market next week, right? Or 2 weeks or next month or next year. Where did that factor in that decision-making process for you? The fear of, are we going to miss something better?
I think that, yeah, there's always that fear. Heck, we still look at real estate every day. We still get emails. We're still looking at estate, right? And I will tell you that Dave and I talk about it at night. Hey, did you see this house on blah, blah, blah? And we still love our house and we still feel that it was 100% the right decision. Was it scary? Oh my gosh, yeah. It was a huge price tag for us, huge.
Right, it was above what you came down wanting to spend. Also,
exactly.
This was just an exploratory. Hey, let's look at this one part of town. We'll check it out. It's a first floor. We didn't really want a first floor. But
right too. We wanted a second floor, and guess what? I think we would have regretted if we got a second floor. So that was another one that, you know, those boxes that got checked off. And no, it was definitely scary. It was definitely something that you felt rushed, but not rushed. I mean, you put it on yourself about that feeling. And I know we would have lost the opportunity and we probably would have kicked ourselves.
For sure.
Given all the properties that you've seen come through your email since then, have you seen one that made you think, oh, you know what, that would have been a better one for us?
No. And that's the truth. No.
I know, and that's hundreds. That's hundreds
out of our budget that we would never afford.
Right. No, it's crazy. And then obviously, you know, this was a second home for you guys. And then we, over the past few months, right now, you have an investment property here too, much smaller scale, different price point. But would you say that experience initially kind of helped your comfort level with the second one, because you moved quickly on that second one, for sure.
Absolutely. But I will toot your horn a little bit, Nick. I mean, so much of that factored into your skills, your knowledge, your helping us navigate everything, this house and the investment property.
The processes that you have us follow, it's point on. You do this step to this step, you follow all these steps so that nothing's missed and everything stays on point, stays on track. And you know, that
it was the easiest thing.
It was easier for us and less nervous. Like, you know, did Nick forget to do something? It was never did Nick forget to do anything, because it was like, all right, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Everything was like on point, on task.
I appreciate that greatly. And I think the stresses of how this can be is kind of, you know, why I got into this to begin with, just going through it myself. And it was not a great experience. Can always be done better. But I think there's kind of two areas that I think freak people out a little bit. Number one, you have to trust the person that you're actually going to work with, right? Whether that be me or somebody else. And that's an uphill battle. Our industry does not have a great reputation, and honestly, for largely good reason. So that's kind of battle number one, is you guys had to actually believe that I had your best interest at heart and know it through and through. And I don't know that a lot of people get there. People tend to bounce around between agents, so and so, and then I'm going over to her, and then I'm going to go to an open house and talk to this person and see a property. I don't know how many people, and I'd be curious, there's no data on this, but just a curiosity of, I wonder how many people who take that route of, whatever agent is going to, bring me the deal is the one that I'm going to work with, actually end up buying something here, versus the ones who stick to a process and trust a person. And it's a big leap.
It wasn't only your process, Nick. It was, we never felt pressure to, you got to buy this or else, or you said, hey, here's probably the price point you want to be, and you may want to go a little bit further north of the number, but after that, now you're going to start overpaying. And you never wanted us to overpay for a property, which says a lot to your character. Like, hey, this is it, know your walkaway number, and that's that. And that's what stuck with us, and that's how you guided us. So we felt that we were getting our best value with you representing us.
No, that's awesome.
And if you remember, we started following you on Facebook. That's how we found you.
I remember a phone call from Dave. We're talking about water heater replacement cost. I was driving down 12th Street past Wawa. It's still stuck in my head when I got that phone call, and I was like, oh, this guy's thorough. I like this. Because again,
it's just a conversation. We followed you for a while and said, hey, when we're ready, let's just call this guy Nick and see what he's like for real.
It still blows my mind that I get to do what I do. And that's how people find me, is just me talking into a camera like this one. It's crazy. But no, I am glad that you guys not only made the decision to do it once, but twice, especially the investment side. I had somebody knocking on the door basically who wanted that unit also, but they didn't act quickly. And it's painful to see it, but you saw right immediately after, maybe 4 weeks, 5 weeks, another unit in that place sold for substantially more. Which it's crazy. It's another example. And again, if I want to drive this point home of just being decisive, it's the most important thing. And that can be decisive in who you choose to work with. That's decisive in the house, the property that you want to buy. But doing all the research up front, right? Listening to things like this and talking to people who have done it, I think is critical. If you guys had to do it again, or if you could go back and kind of coach yourselves the first time, would you tell yourself anything differently, or, hey, watch out for this, that you learned through the process that you didn't know up front, that you think would be helpful for people to hear?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Go ahead.
I think we look back and think how lucky we are that we made such a quick decision, that how lucky we are where the street that we're located, the proximity, our neighbors. We are so thankful every day that we did what we did, and that we really landed lucky with this whole process. No, we have no regrets, and I wouldn't do anything differently. Absolutely not.
It's funny because when you have a chance, when you're down here now, and just walk up and down the streets, walk the whole island, drive the whole island, you get to see kind of like where everything's at, and where we're at. It's close enough to Asbury, so we can walk to Asbury for all the events that happen on Asbury. Close enough to get to the boardwalk. It's the ideal, perfect location, and it's quiet enough that you don't have a lot of noise if you're not looking for the noise aspect of it. So but not knowing that until we moved here, like you don't know that, and unless you really know that, or you're on an island nonstop. We learned over time, but it's, to Heather's point, we're very fortunate you found this property and we landed on it.
Now that's one of the tough things too, is again, there are, and I'm going to not toot my own horn a little bit, but there are a lot of agents who, they'll travel down here from Cherry Hill, right? They'll come from wherever for the opportunity to sell a shore house. They don't know anything about the island, about, hey, you know what, you're looking for this, that, and the other, stay away from this area or this street, because it's not a fit for you. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's just not what you're looking for. And I think that guidance helps people make a decision. Again, you guys are going to have that for generations, right?
Mhm.
This was not a short-term decision. This was not the typical pitch is always just get your foot on the island, plant your flag, and you can move up to the right property soon.
No.
Right? 3 years, 5 years, no big deal. Just sell that one and buy the better one that's a little closer to perfect. And I think that's garbage.
No, that's not our intent.
No, never sell.
No.
I'm team never sell all the way. And make the decision right the first time. So with that, is there anything else that you want to share about your experience of doing this, again, not once, but twice, about being on the island? Anything you want to leave everybody with?
I think the more time that we spend here, it's fabulous that we spend probably most weekends here, even off season. So it is a phenomenal island off season. You can get in your car, you can run to stores, run to a lot of eatery places, and get to know those places that you may not venture out during the height of the season.
Yeah.
But Ocean City is a great town. We do not regret this purchase, and we did not take it lightly. This was a huge purchase for us. We had already paid off our mortgage, so to do it again, it had to be the right everything for us, and it really, really was.
No, that's awesome. Well, hey, I appreciate you guys taking some time to share your story, and I know you're enjoying it as we speak now. And the backsplash looks great.
Thank you.
You guys did. But anybody else, if you hopefully have learned something from Dave and Heather, it's just that you need to, I don't want to sound too much like a 76er, but trust the process, and be decisive. And you kind of have to move when it's ready. And there's a difference between pressure and urgency. If anyone's giving you pressure, run for the hills. Proper urgency is a different people entirely. So thank you guys for spending some time listening to their story and hanging out with us. If you haven't already, make sure you hit subscribe down below for more stories like theirs coming up. Thanks a lot. See you soon.